Hello and welcome. As a hotel AI expert with deep experience in modern hospitality, it's my pleasure to welcome all of you from the Europe Hotel School to this online learning journey. Today, we're diving into something absolutely critical, a skill where strategy and the real world collide, mastering the F&B design review. And trust me, this is about way more than just blueprints. It's about building the very foundation for your future operational success. So here's how we're going to break it down. We'll start with why this review is so important in the first place. Then, we'll get into the details analyzing the flow of both the front of house and the back of house. After that, we'll cover the final critical checks you have to make, and we'll wrap up with the real weight and responsibility of a leader's final sign-off. Let's get started. Okay, let's begin with the big picture. I want you to think of the physical design of your restaurant or bar as the stage. It's the stage where every single future operation, every guest interaction, every meal served is going to unfold. This review process is your one chance, that critical checkpoint, where you as the leader make sure that stage is built for a flawless performance, night after night. And believe me, the stakes here could not be higher. A small detail you miss, a wrong assumption, these are not just little headaches down the road. As it says right here, they are a guarantee of friction for your team and will absolutely force you into expensive, disruptive changes after you've already opened. Your number one job in this phase is prevention, pure and simple. So how do we do that? Well, the main tool we use is something called operational flow analysis. It sounds complex, but it's actually a pretty simple, powerful idea. You just systematically map out every single movement. Where do your guests walk? How does your staff get from point A to point B? How do supplies even get from the delivery truck to the kitchen? Really digging into this analysis is the key to unlocking a truly efficient design. All right, let's move to our first area of focus, the front of house. Now, this is the stage, right? This is the guest-facing world where the entire experience happens. And in here, flow is all about creating what I like to call a seamless ballet of service. The most important thing you can do here is to physically trace the journeys. Start with your guests. From the moment they arrive to the moment they leave. Is their path clear, intuitive, and pleasant? Then do the same for your staff. How many steps does it take to get from the kitchen to that corner table? Are the service stations placed smartly to cut down on travel time? And critically, is there enough space to avoid bumping into each other during a chaotic Saturday night service? Oh, and here's one that people always forget. Is there a hidden, efficient route for staff to bring back dirty dishes without weaving through the whole dining room? And this really gets to a critical point. Your design is not one size fits all. Think about it. A fine dining restaurant needs these discreet, almost invisible service points. That's completely different from a bustling, fast casual spot that needs a really clear, direct line of sight from the counter to the tables. The blueprint has to physically represent the brand promise you're making to your guests. And this slide really shows the two sides of the coin perfectly. The front of house is your stage. It's all about the guest experience, the vibe, the ambiance. But the back of house, well, that's the engine room. And in there, it's all about raw efficiency, safety, and a perfectly tuned production line. So now, let's step into that engine room, the back of house. You know, if the front of house is the stage, the BOH is where the magic is actually made. An inefficient kitchen can bring your entire operation to its knees, no matter how beautiful the dining room is. This is probably the most practical test you can apply to any BOH design. I want you to do this exercise. Mentally, or even by walking the space, trace the complete journey of one single dish. From the second the order pops up on the screen, through prep, cooking, plating, all the way to the moment the server picks it up. Are there bottlenecks? Are there extra steps? Are there places where staff are likely to collide? Now, everything in the BOH, and I mean everything, has to be built on this one fundamental principle. FIFO, first in, first out. The design of the kitchen itself has to make it easy, almost automatic, to follow this rule. The path from receiving to storage to prep has to be so logical that food safety and quality control are just built right into the architecture. The best way to make FIFO happen and just be efficient overall is with a linear flow, just like you see here. And look, this isn't just a suggestion, this is the absolute foundation of a functional kitchen. Each step follows the last one logically. This prevents staff from backtracking or constantly crossing over each other. Anytime you break this linear flow, like having to walk past the dish pit to get to the walk-in fridge, you're just designing inefficiency and chaos right into your operation. And let's be crystal clear about this. This part is non-negotiable. A design that lets the path of raw food cross with cooked food or allows clean dishes to cross with dirty ones, that is a critical failure, period. It's not just inefficient, it's a massive food safety violation just waiting to happen. You have to find these risks on the blueprint, and you have to eliminate them. Okay, so once you've analyzed the flow of the entire operation, front and back, it's time to get down to the nitty-gritty, the final tangible checks. This stage is all about the details, the specific equipment, the budget, and all the regulations. You need to look at the placement of every single piece of heavy equipment. Is it positioned ergonomically for the staff who are going to be using it for hours on end? Does it meet all the required safety standards? And, so important, does it comply with your local fire codes and have the proper ventilation? Getting this wrong isn't just inefficient, it can be downright dangerous and can literally stop you from getting your license to operate. Now here's a question every great leader needs to ask themselves. It's not just about what you see on the plan, it's about what you don't see. This is where you really protect your budget. These are just a few classic examples of items that can totally fall through the cracks. The design might show this beautiful custom chef's table, right? But is that actually included in the construction budget? Or is that a separate capital expenditure, a CapEx item that you need to budget for separately? The same goes for all kinds of specialty equipment, from unique glassware racks to specific POS terminals. You have to hunt for these hidden costs before they become very expensive surprises later on. And that brings us to our final and, in my opinion, most important step, the sign-off. You see, this is so much more than just a signature on a piece of paper. It is a fundamental act of leadership. When you get right down to it, all of this meticulous, detail-oriented work serves two main goals. It stops those crazy expensive last-minute changes, and it protects your opening date. This whole process is a strategic asset that helps you open on time, on budget, and with a space that is actually ready for business. This right here is the key takeaway. When you sign off on those drawings, you are not just approving a design. Your signature means that you and your team are taking full ownership of the future operational success and, yes, the challenges of that space. You're saying, yes, we can run a successful business here. So I'll leave you with this one final thought. As you move forward in your careers, whenever you're handed a blueprint, ask yourself this question. Am I just ticking a box and approving a layout? Or am I taking the very first critical step in owning the long-term success of my operation? You know, that distinction, that's what separates a manager from a true leader. Thank you.